Good Sunday evening, high school sports fans. Joe Gillaway with Lingelstown Gazette Sports live from the Orchard Street studio. And this is our girls basketball postseason recap slash preview show. I'll be joined momentarily by our panel of experts, or maybe our panel of expert tonight. We're still waiting on Terry Clark Jr., but
Yep.
we have Bob Bonner with us once again, and we'll get with Bob or both of them as soon as we're done thanking those responsible for bringing you tonight's show. They are our Lingelstown Gazette Sports Platinum sponsors: Capital Region Insurance Agency, Payer Apparel, Team PA, AAU Basketball, Ted's Bar and Grill, The Tire Mart, American Legion Post 272, Crystal Bob at Iron Valley Real Estate, Hoffman Ford, Sam Hartley Decking, and Tonino's Pizza. Thank you once again to these great local businesses for their continued support of Lingelstown Gazette Sports and our area student athletes. We also want to encourage you. We just did a boys show, very similar to what you're going to see here tonight at 6 o'clock. Go back and watch that if you like boys basketball as well. And here comes Terry. There he is.
Hey, sorry, I'm late.
That's okay. He came in sitting in front of the brick wall again. Welcome. We're just doing the intro, Terry.
Okay.
So anyway, viewers, if you want to watch some good boys basketball chat, we had Coach Snip Esterly, who just won the Berks County tournament last night. He was our opening guest. We had Mike Pilsitz, Coach Mike Pilsitz, join us. He was the Steel High 2008 state championship coach. So great show. I want to mention that our photos, a lot of our photos are compliments of Penn Live Patriot News. Some of those professional photographers, we use some of their work, and we always appreciate that. And once again, this is a prostate cancer awareness house. I was diagnosed with prostate cancer in 2022. I had my prostate removed in December. I always mention this is not about me. It's about you and your loved ones. 1 in 7 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in his lifetime. And if it is you or one of your loved ones, there is it's not a high. It's a form of cancer that's very treatable. Is what I'm trying to say here. But it all starts with a PSA test. It's a simple blood test, and if you're getting up there in your 40s or close to 50, it may be time to have this PSA done. If you're at average risk, average or low, age 50, high risk, age 45. If you're have a family history of prostate cancer or any cancer at all, or African American, which is a higher likelihood, please get checked between 40 and 45 years of age. We want to see you around, you or your loved one around. That's for sure. So, anyway, thanks, guys, for joining me again tonight. You guys do a great job, and it's a lot of fun. And I want to start with just some light housekeeping here, and recognize at halftime of Thursday's girls Mid-Penn Conference Championship game, Central Dauphin was announced the Central Pennsylvania Basketball Officials Association Crawford Hunter Sportsmanship Award. That's a mouthful. Voted on annually by Mid-Penn Conference game officials or referees, of course. And where are the girls? There's the girls accepting their award. I kind of thought it was odd they handed this out at halftime. It seemed like a pre-game ceremony type of thing. But congrats to the girls. That means that they're going about it the right way. Coach Randy Gambalungi, of course, is a great guy. Goes about it the right way for sure. Great sport, and so congrats to the girls. And on the boys' side, it went to Milton Hershey, and that's coach and currently AD Mark Zerby accepting for his Milton Hershey team. So congrats to Central Dauphin girls, Milton Hershey boys, again, going about it the right way. And these are voted on by the officials. So that's who would probably know. Okay. And I think we're going to move right into the Mid-Penn tournament. And that was exciting. Okay. Well, I guess we'll first go with the opening round was Central Dauphin played Middletown 46-36. I know, Bob, you were there. I don't know, Tara, if you watched that or not. Really close game.
Yeah.
Really close game. It wasn't a 10-point game. Central Dauphin was up like 12 or 13, and Middletown cut it to 3 in the fourth quarter, early in the fourth quarter. So it was anybody's game. Central Dauphin, it's kind of like the cream rose to the top or whatever. Central Dauphin a little better team than them, and it showed it down the stretch. But Middletown more than showed up. And I went up to Coach Dixon, Coach Lasanda Dixon, and a couple of the players, and I just said, great you more than showed up. You were here to win, and you almost pulled it off. And so great job. And I feel good about them going into districts. I mean, they're going to have a tough matchup, I would say, against York Suburban, but they're not there yet, and hopefully do really well in districts and beyond. And then Mechanicsburg really took care of business against Trinity, 51-36. I was told it wasn't even that close. I mean, 10 points was less than that, I think, in the Central Dauphin Middletown. The 51-36 might have been even a little bit more, but it is what it is. And then in the final game, Thursday night, Mechanicsburg 39, Central Dauphin 37. Mechanicsburg was just a better team that night. Not by much. It's a 2-point game. All right. I kind of liked Mechanicsburg's chances going in. Terry, you and I were texting the days leading up. I said, I think Mechanicsburg wins the game. I didn't like the way Central Dauphin played against Middletown. I said, if they show up that way again, they're not going to win against Mechanicsburg, who is a very seasoned team with a really good coach, Clay McAllister. Mechanicsburg outshot and out-rebounded Central Dauphin. And Central Dauphin's big. Now, they were without Michaela Matinchek for a good part of the game because she was in foul trouble, but still, they still have Sam Sembrot. They still have Livia Green. And I don't know what else to say. Just a really, really good game by Mechanicsburg. They drew up a really nice play down the stretch at the very end. They scored with just a couple seconds. It wasn't enough. In a boys' game, sometimes you can throw a line drive down the court and get a shot off. If there's 3 or 4 seconds left in a girls' game, you're not getting the ball down the floor and getting a shot up. So great job. I think Mechanicsburg should compete in the Commonwealth Division. Bob, you and I were talking about that earlier. I think it's time for that.
Yep.
I didn't even think that was like an upset the other night. I mean, I'm sure most people would. The Commonwealth versus Keystone, 20-1 versus whatever. That's really a good Mechanicsburg team. It really is. And the last thing I'm going to say is this. Let's look before we get into. I want to talk about maybe expanding the Mid-Penn tournament, which it's not up to us whether it ever happens. But let's look at these. This is the Lancaster Lebanon Manheim Township over Cedar Crest. That was the first and second seed in the entire tournament. Probably the lesser of the 4 tournaments. I say that with respect. There's Berks Wilson over Exeter. There again, that was the number 1 seed. Wilson going into the tournament, and then York Adams. There's the granddaddy of them all. That's outshining the Mid-Penn any day of the week. You have Red Lion, DeLone Catholic, Dallastown, York Suburban in the semis. Dallastown upsets Red Lion. That is an upset. York Suburban upsets Dallastown. York Suburban is a great team, a great coach. That is an upset though. And then York Suburban wins big against DeLone Catholic. So, but part of the reason I wanted to show that was because, and there's our tournament. That's just what we just talked about. Let me just pose this in the form of a question. Do we like the Mid-Penn tournament the way it currently is, or would 8 teams be better? Now, just to give you some information, you guys probably know this. Who would be the next 4 teams in? It would have been Altoona, Cedar Cliff, 2 really good teams, really good coaches that know how to coach in big games. Susquehanna Township, to me, the best team in the Capital Division. I'll say it. I mean it. I feel strongly about that. They blew out Trinity. Trinity, by virtue of that win earlier in the year, though, they tied for the Capital Division, and then the power rankings got them in, and then Northern York out of the Colonial Division. You could argue that Altoona was the second best team in the entire Mid-Penn, and they didn't get in because of the format. Bob, we'll start with you. Would you like to see? I just showed all the other brackets from the surrounding District 3 leagues. Would you like to see 8 teams and another round?
Me personally, sure.
Well, your daughter would have played it.
I really don't think she's going to get to play in a Mid-Penn tournament. Susquehanna Township's coming into our division next year, and
they're not going to get any worse.
It's just like another Middletown.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, like she would love that. You know, even if we had to play Central Dolphin, she doesn't care. Like,
right.
I think her teammates same way. Like, it just gives more girls an opportunity to play, and it kind of helps get you ready for postseason. You
How
know what
about
I mean?
that? How about the energy in that gym?
It was awesome.
Unbelievable. I mean, when usually we're kind of stretching it. When we say standing room only, that was standing room only.
Yeah.
There were people, Terry, pouring into that gym. I'm looking around. There's nowhere to even stand,
right?
And there's still people pouring into the gym. I'm like, where are these people going to go?
Right.
So but you made a good point. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but the point you made was that it's so good for the kids.
Yeah.
You're going to find coaches that don't like it, don't want anything to do with it.
Sure.
Okay. We just had one on the boys show, Mike Pilsitz from Steel High. He liked and Steel High played in Mid-Penn tournaments, of course. You know, when he coached, he assisted under couple coaches down there. Not Richter, but Rick Binder. I'm sorry. Rick's my friend too. I'm embarrassed. And then he head coached. So they were representing their division in some Mid-Penn tournaments. He said, Joe, we'd rather have the time to prepare, to rest and prepare. But there's nothing like that environment for a kid. Terry, what about you? What do you think? Would you rather see an extra round? You need 2 more days, by the way. You need a day of preparation and then a day to play. So you do need to add 2 days. Terry?
Yeah, I mean, I do know. I can't remember when they went away from it, the year that they went away from it, because when they first originally started doing the Mid-Penn tournament, it was like that. They took the 2 best teams from each division. It was like that. But they went away from that to what it is today. With that being said, though, I do, like you just rattled off the teams that would have been in it, and I do think it would have gave the tournament more intrigue. Although, obviously, both of the boys and girls championship games were really, really good. Like, they were really good.
Really good.
But just imagine, though, like you add in those additional teams, though, you would have had some really good matchups prior to that as well. Yeah. And then the environment in the gym, I do think at the end of the day, winning the Mid-Penn tournament matters. If you use the example of the York Adams League, for example, on the girls' side, York Suburban ended up winning it. And they haven't won that tournament in like something crazy, like 40 years. And
40 years. Very good. You did your homework. 40 years.
Yeah, that really mattered to them. And they made a point to them that they wanted to win that tournament. So that's what you get. It's for the kids at the end of the day. And I do truly believe that they need to go back to that format.
Yeah, great points. I totally agree. Just an example of what Mechanicsburg would have been faced with, and I'm not saying they couldn't have done it. They would have beaten Central Dauphin. Then they would have had to play Altoona. Think about it. The Central Dauphin game would have probably been the semis, and then Altoona probably would have got through on the other side. They're really good, even though Central Dauphin beat them twice, because Central Dauphin played at a high level when they beat them twice. But so that's what you're up against. And there's no saying that Mechanicsburg wouldn't have been able to beat Altoona, but it just kind of changes the entire dynamic when you have a Commonwealth 1 and a Commonwealth 2, you know? And then, of course, you'd have, again, Scott Wyant's a phenomenal basketball coach. You put him in there, he can upset anybody. He can upset Central Dauphin. He can upset Altoona. I'm telling you, I feel strongly about that. So York Suburban, first time in 40 years, Manheim Township. Surprising here, first time since 2011. Lancaster Catholic won a lot of them over those years.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then how about Wilson? First time since 2014.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's
I didn't know that.
Neither did I. I had to check it twice. I went back twice. A lot of Governor Mifflin.
Yeah.
And then who else was in there? Burke's Catholic.
Burke's Catholic. I was going to say probably.
Yeah. So. And Mechanicsburg girls, I'm pretty sure that's their first ever. I mean, they were really happy. They were fired up. And
it was awesome.
Yeah, it's really, really, really good stuff. I'm friends with Randy Gambelungi. I'm the team's public address announcer. But I also like to see kids play well and kids be jubilant and joyous in victory. And that's what Mechanicsburg was after that game. I don't know what else to say. They really were feeling it, and the gym was loud. Just a great environment. So, but let's take a look at this. The boys, that's the boys side. We did the girls side during the boys show. So Central Dauphin beat Greencastle, McDevitt beat Milton Hershey. And then McDevitt, man, they way more than showed up for that game. They were winning the game with like, what was it, 11 seconds left, 11.8 seconds or something like that. And Coach Leonard, it looked like a totally drawn up play. Great play.
It was.
6'8" junior, Johnny Shirey. He's like the first or second off the bench. He's not a starter. He was in the game. He caught a pass in the paint. He waited just a microsecond for two players to collapse on him, dropped it off to Khalil Roberts, and Khalil Roberts just made that big runner against Cumberland Valley just, what was that, couple weeks ago. So, and there's Khalil Roberts. I mean, he's by far forgotten on that team, but when there's that many stars, it's easy to say, well, this guy hasn't really had a good game in a week.
Right.
And, and then the other three kind of move ahead of him. Shakir Starling and Jared DeLimpio are kind of, no, I'm not going to even say that they're guys, because then you got Easter and Roberts. I mean, that's a really good team, Yeah. They just decided. I was there. I was in the second row and center court. It was just a great seat for both games. And they just kind of decided in the second half that they were going to play a little better defense. And you can make that decision. That's something you can control. You can't say, I'm just going to start making 3-pointers. Okay, you're either going to make them or you're not. I'm going to start making free throws, but you can tell yourself, or your coach can tell you at halftime, we got to play a little better defense. We have to hustle. And McDevitt really shot lights out in the first half, and that kind of subsided, But man, Coach Jim Rao, don't ever question that guy. I didn't think it was going to be a blowout to the degree that a lot of people did, but I thought it would be kind of low double digits, kind of 9 to 12 ish. I was throwing that number 12 around a lot, and I'm willing to. I admit it in the football show, Terry. You know that, and I'm willing to admit when I was wrong. That was a 50-50 game. Somebody had to win, somebody had to lose. So congrats to Central Dauphin boys and to Milton Hershey. And Milton Hershey has a good shot in the district tournament here as well. So let's move into the brackets. Anything else you guys want to say about the Mid-Penn tournament? I think we covered it. I think we got that. All right. Let's do this. Let's start where we start every week. The 1A girls.
Oh.
And I took some notes. Look, I want to kind of address each classification, even though we don't have a lot of teams. 1A girls defending champ is Linville Hill. They won it the last 2 years. In 23 and 24 was Mount Calvary Christian, and 21 was Harrisburg Christian. Does anybody remember this name? Lebanon Catholic?
Yes.
They used to win it almost every year.
Yeah, yes.
They owned 1A. They had 20 championships overall. The school folded. The school had financial problems. And so if anybody's out there wondering, whatever happened to Lebanon Catholic? Did they move up? Did they move out of the mid? No, they're gone. And to the joy of probably a lot of these other schools. So the top Veritas Academy is ranked number 1. I'm not going to go through all of them. And New Covenant Christian is ranked number 2. But there's some good, these are 1A schools, and they're not going to compete with some of the teams we just talked about. But these are really good programs and really good teams. Let's face it. So we want to wish them best wishes, and we want to move into – nope, we don't want to move back into York. Sorry, guys. We want to move into the Class 2A girls, and Camp Hill is our team coach, Bob Crum, and we want to wish Coach Crum well. He got the 2 seed Shalom Christian in the opening round, and the one good thing about a team, and you guys will understand this, a team like Camp Hill, they play up in class like Steel High does in football throughout the season. They're not going to be shell-shocked when they run into some of these. And I don't know if they're going to win or lose or how far they're going to go, if they're going to win one game and lose in the finals. But I'm saying that they're probably seasoned from playing some bigger schools. What do you guys think?
Yeah, definitely. York Catholic, I watched them play this year. like I watched everybody play, I guess. But they're on. If Coach Crum is listening, if he can knock off Shalom, York Catholic is on the same level as Trinity.
Okay.
Like when I saw them play each other, pretty good game. You know what I mean? So he has an idea, and I think York Catholic early in the season beat Shalom by like 20 some. So the teams that he plays during the regular season, he has a fighter's chance there.
Okay.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, that was great work right there. The Trinity comparison, yeah, I would say that's pretty accurate. So
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
Coach.
Yeah. Good job. Last year, the defending champions, York Catholic, they won it in 2025.
Yep.
2 years prior to that, in 23 and 24, was Millersburg. And then for the 4 years between 19 through 22, 2019 through 2022, was Linden Hall all 4 times.
Yeah.
They had some good players.
Yes, they did. The glory days. Now they're on the opposite end.
Right. Yeah. And that's something that,
like one win this year.
Columbia Boys. Remember, Columbia Boys just won it 2 years ago, and I think they only won a handful of games this year. They weren't even close to qualifying.
That happens in 1 and 2A. Ups and downs.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's
I mean,
let's face it, it's about players.
It's supposed to.
Yeah.
It's honestly supposed to down there.
Yeah. So, Coach Bob Crum and your Camp Hill Lady Lions, we wish you well. And we want to, if we do another show, nothing guaranteed, but, we're kind of having fun here, I think, guys.
Yeah.
We'd like to bring Coach Crum on. We always have a boys coach on the football, or we usually do the football show. We've had boys coaches on the basketball show, and maybe we'll bring Coach Crum on here. So, win or lose.
Yeah.
You don't have to win to be on the show. So let's move to 3A. 3A girls. I don't know enough about some of these other teams, but it kind of looks like things are maybe set up for Trinity again. And I think that, they're another team that plays some tough competition. I don't know what Ole Valley and Kutztown and Pequay Valley. Pequay Valley is 19-3. They probably play a tough schedule, but Trinity is the defending champion. 2 years prior to that was Lancaster Catholic, and then 2 years prior to that, it was Trinity. So Trinity wins 2 years out of 3.
Yeah,
it seems that way, guys. They get knocked off, and then they win a couple more, and then they get knocked off, and they win a couple more. And they have a new coach now, Norris Coles, but they're winning, and they've only lost 2 games all year. Susquehanna Township, and was it York Catholic? Or they beat York Catholic, right?
They did beat York Catholic.
They lost
a team down by Philly, a charter school.
Yeah.
Auden Reed.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. So we wish Trinity well, and we want to move on to 4A, and we're going to have a new champion, because Wyomissing's won it the last 3 years. Okay. Right. Wyomissing's D1 super stud is gone off to college. Terry, what's her name? I can't remember now. Oh my God. Great.
Minnesota, I think.
I forget. Like awesome young lady too. I had her on my show. I had a full-length interview with her last year, like a 45 or 60-minute interview. And she was just wonderful, just a fabulous guest and an awesome young lady. But so DeLone Catholic won it in 21 and 22, and then 3 years for Wyomissing. And then Lancaster Catholic is also now in 4A. They're not quite as good this year, but this is the year for Susquehanna, or maybe next year too. Susquehanna Township, are they moving up to 5A, or we don't know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
They are. That's confirmed.
So this might be the year for them, and that's not to say that they can't win next year in 5A, but their last district championship was in the 1980-81 season, 45 years ago. So this is, Terry, you're a Susquehanna Township man. Talk about how big this is for Susquehanna Township.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the last one was in 1980, the Stacy Dean days. So
the Stacy Dean days, yeah.
This is huge. I mean, this is huge. I think honestly, like if it was a year for them to do it, it needs to be this year.
It has
I
to be.
think so. York Suburban's not going away, man. They got a freshman
No, they're
guard,
not.
the coach's daughter, and it's just
No,
there's
they're
just
not.
there's good mojo down there right now.
Yeah, they're feeling really, really good right now.
Yeah. But DeLone Catholic, they just finished their runners up in the York Adams League, and they beat Dallastown, or they beat Red Lion by 15.
Yes.
45-30 in the and Red Lion might be the best team in the whole district at all classifications.
Yeah.
Still, I'm not going to hold that against them. They got a great coach, and they're going to regroup. So, man, I tell you what, on both sides, the boys and the girls side, we're in store for some really good championship game matchups here, guys.
Yeah,
I think so. So,
yeah.
Coach Jerron Dickerson and his girls, we wish you well. I mean, they have the talent. Bob, Terry, myself, we've all seen them play at a high level.
Mm-hmm.
I know they scrimmaged Central Dolphin before. It was just a scrimmage, but it was right before the season, and they played with them.
Yeah,
they hung with them.
Yep.
I think Sembrot was out. That seems to be a recurring theme. Sembrot was out. She played most of the season, but the point is, Susquehanna Township, I think, can play with just about anybody. They got their tails kicked in against Dallastown a week or two ago, but they probably licked their wounds, and hopefully that they open with big spring, and they get to avoid DeLone Catholic with the number 2 seed until the final.
Yeah. Can I cut in real quick?
Yeah, no, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, so like going back to the Susquehanna Township thing, you mentioned the Dallastown game. They played Alden Reed. They played some really good non-conference games this year to help prepare them for this moment. So they should be ready. For me, it comes down to them being able to move the ball, play good defense, not turn the ball over, and also stay out of foul trouble. That's key for them.
Right, because they're aggressive. They're aggressive, and they can get in foul trouble. Yeah.
And potentially, if they match up versus DeLone, which I think we all think will happen, versus them, DeLone's going to force them to have to make shots.
Coach Jerry Eckenrode's incredible, fabulous coach. He's as good of a girls basketball coach as we have around here. That's for sure.
Yep.
Exactly. So he's going to force them to have to do that. So the open chances and open shots will be there, but will they make them or not? That's what it's going to come down to. So it should be very, very interesting. I'm looking forward to that potential matchup.
Yeah, discipline. They're going to have discipline.
Yeah.
Against that zone defense. I mean, because they have the girls to move the ball. It's whether, hey, are your 3-point shooters going to be able to drop in what they need to?
Right.
Yep.
Like Coach said.
I'm going to tell on myself again that they played. I think it might have been James Buchanan. It was a Mid-Penn team. The night that Central Dolphin lost to Red Lion, it was like a little showcase, a two game, and I watched just about the whole DeLone Catholic game, and I probably texted both of you guys separately, but I was like, I just don't get it. I don't think DeLone's that good. Remember? Do you guys remember I said that to you?
Yeah.
And they won big. I think they won by 28. But I said they just don't look like a. And guess who else? Guess who agreed with me? Coach Jerry Eckenrode. I watched his post-game interview, and he said, "If you would have told me," this is his interview the other night after they beat Red Lion. He's like, "If you would have told me we were going to be here right now at the beginning of the season," and I could tell he was sincere. He's like, "I wouldn't have believed it." He goes, "I didn't see this coming," and so I saw what he saw.
Yeah,
back, and that was back in like either the beginning to middle of the season. But if anybody's going to kind of like bring a team around and help improve them, it's going to be Coach Eckenrode. So best wishes to all the teams in 4A. So let's move up to, let's see if I got this right here. 5A girls. And we have a handful of, we have a lot of 5A schools in the Mid-Penn. It's just, that's just the way things play out. York Suburban looking for the three-peat. They won it in 24 and 25. Year before that was Greencastle. That was the year they had a couple really good guards, Bob. You remember them?
Did.
They had an Asian girl that was just fabulous. I don't remember her name.
I think
and then they had Yeah, right. And her. And was it Falk?
Faulkner.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, but they
Yeah.
had two fabulous guards that year, 2023.
Yep.
The year prior to that was Gettysburg and then Spring Grove before that. Middletown, guys, we just said Susquehanna Township hasn't won in 45 years. I think we said, yeah. They're 0-1 in district championships. They lost to McDevitt in 1985, which would have been Joe Bressi era. So Middletown looking for their first. What a big time for Susquehanna Township and Middletown. Middletown gets a bye along with York Suburban. They're the only two teams with a bye. And then Northern York, let's talk about them. They got the, I guess, the draw that might not have been as favorable as another one. Is that right, Bob? Let's get this.
Yeah, that's definitely right.
Yeah, if anybody knows.
They were up around 3 there, and then we lost to Susquehannock in double overtime at Susquehannock, and we had opportunities, and it dropped us all the way down to 7. And to be honest, that's probably not the place you want to be.
No, well, you got to get Middletown right if you win the first game.
We're worried more about the first game.
Right.
Yeah, the first game's going to be tough.
Yeah. West York is solid team. So if we could get by that, if we could get by West York, then we'll roll the dice with everything else.
You guys showed not showed up. You guys played very well. You were leading Middletown by a point in I think it was the fourth quarter.
Right at the end of the third quarter.
End of the third quarter, yeah. So anyway, but you're right though. You got to deal with what's right in front of you, and right in front of them is West York.
Yeah.
And then Milton Hershey and Greencastle, two Mid-Penn teams in the opening round. Palmyra has Cocalico. So like lots of 5A schools and is anybody going to be able to knock off Middletown or York Suburban? I don't think so. I really don't.
It's going to be tough.
Did I say how impressed I was with Middletown, the way they played against Central Dauphin? They really did play, really well. And I knew one of the problems that Coach Gambalungi was going to have was that, okay, first of all, Central Dauphin plays great defense. They always do. But not every game, but, every season for the better part of the season. But I figured that they could cover Kosher and Cleveland.
Yep.
But it's tough. Even after that, you got a couple the Twins you have to try to cover, and you have a big down there that needs some attention. And so Middletown, they're a handful to defend, I think.
Yeah.
They are. Yeah, they're a very experienced team. I mean, the starting 5 are all seniors, and they've all played significant minutes since their freshman year.
Right.
So they've been here, done that. So this is it for them. This is it.
Absolutely. And I talked to Coach Gambalungi, pretty regularly, and he was concerned with Middletown out of respect.
Sure.
He took them seriously. He's like, Joe, this is a really good team. He said, and I have to focus on them and not whoever we get in the next game. And he put a lot of preparation into them, and he was right. He was absolutely right. The first thing I said to him, either later that night after that game or the next day, I said, "You were right, Coach. Middletown's a really good team." So and I only say that because that's kind of if an opposing coach says that, it's probably true.
Absolutely.
So anyway, let's move on to 6A, and I guess the granddaddy of them all. But man, there's so many good teams in the lower classifications this year that I don't want to say that 6A is like head and shoulders above. We just talked about Susquehanna Township, Milton Hershey, York Suburban, and DeLone Catholic, but this is the highest classification, of course. And our representatives from Mid-Penn are Cedar Cliff, Mechanicsburg, Central Dauphin, Cumberland Valley. What's that? Only 4 teams coming out of the Mid-Penn. Reigning champs are Dallastown. 2 years ago, it was Central Dauphin. It went Dallastown, Central Dauphin, Cedar Cliff, Central Dauphin, then Cumberland Valley in 2021. Central Dauphin has won 5 of 10 between 2017 and 2024. Red Lions' last title was in 2012. They also won it in 2011. I know that's a lot of information, but I just wanted to mention because they are two of the top teams in the tournament. And listen, guys, we talked about, that Central Dauphin kind of, I don't want to say threw up a clunker the other night because that's not nice to say. They didn't shoot well. Okay, they got outplayed by Mechanicsburg. But where I'm going with this is, I still think they could win this tournament because Coach Gambelungi's one whale of a coach. He knows how to prepare his teams for one big game. One big game for them is tomorrow night against Cumberland Valley. And believe me, that's not an easy game.
Right.
I've watched so many times over the last, 11 years now. When Cumberland Valley was the team that should have won the game, CD beat them. When CD was the team that should have won the game, Cumberland Valley beat them. And it's happened over and over and over. And I know that there's got to be some concern. CV has nothing to lose. Right. And maybe Coach Wolf and his staff feel differently. But, when you're coming in with the 15 seed, playing a 2 seed, they got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Olivia Green needs 13 points to reach 1,000 for her career. So if she hasn't really been scoring the 15 to 20 points a game here recently, so
right.
It'd be nice to go ahead, Terry.
Yeah, I think she gets it though. I do. At least I hope so.
I hope so too. I say this all the time. What an awesome young lady she is too. And everything about Olivia Green is just phenomenal. And
yes.
So anyway, but man, I just, it's hard to tell because you got, again, Mechanicsburg, you got to throw them in the mix now, after what we saw the other night. I didn't have them in the mix. I had them in the mix as a good team, but not in a title, a championship mix. Central Dauphin, Mechanicsburg, Red Lion, Dallastown. I don't know if Cedar Cliff has what it takes to, they have a tough opening round game. They play William Penn.
That's going to be a tough one.
I watched that game. I watched the second half of that game. Far from a collapse. Cedar Cliff didn't collapse. They just forgot how to score down the stretch, which happens. They just stopped scoring. And William Penn wasn't even scoring that well, but they were just getting a bucket, and then Cedar Cliff would not score. And then nobody would score for a couple of possessions, and then York would get another. It was one of those games. But that's a coin toss. That's an 8-9. I mean, you got I sing Scott Wyant's praises all the time. That dude can coach.
Yeah.
So William Penn's probably a little more athletic in terms of pure athleticism. But Cedar Cliff just took Mechanicsburg down to the wire, 3 weeks ago? I was there. I watched that game. It was close. They could have won that game easily.
I mean, they already beat them too. They beat them.
Yeah, they beat them early in the season. Took them down to the wire in the second game. So
I want to point out that Coach Terry last show said that Mechanicsburg was a dark horse.
Oh yeah.
Now they're no longer a dark horse.
He knows how to pick them. He knows how to pick them. He does the same thing in football, man. Bob, you ought to see him in football. He's good.
Yeah, I know. He knows his stuff.
He's not chopped liver, Bob.
Right, I know.
No, I appreciate that shout out though. But I mean, I was just really high on Mechanicsburg.
Yeah.
Unfortunately though, for them.
Here comes the great cloud.
I do think that they beat Southwestern first round. However, that's quarterfinals matchup versus Wilson. I feel like that is the worst possible matchup for them. I don't like that matchup for them. I don't.
I do.
But
I really do.
They could win it. They really could win.
That was just we've already talked about the Mid-Penn game, but that was just a big girl game, and it looked to me like the way Mechanicsburg played. If they can duplicate that or replicate or whatever the word is there, I think they could beat some of those other teams. That said, and I talked to Bob about this before the game, Terry. Central Dauphin was like 16 of 57 or 17 of 56, and a lot of them were unforced turnovers, unforced. So a lot of that stuff Mechanicsburg made happen. They created misfortune, but as poorly as Central Dauphin played, it might have been their worst game all year. They still lost pretty much at the buzzer, 3 or 4. Right. So what that tells you, and I'm not taking anything, and you guys know I'm not taking anything away from the win for McCann. What I'm saying is Central Dauphin can win some games, and for Mechanicsburg, I think I'm saying for both teams that they both have a good chance of winning games in the tournament. I'm giving them both an opportunity here because of how they played, or
Question.
yeah.
The loser of that game, if Mechanicsburg and Wilson both win, the loser of that game is going to finish 5th, I would guess.
Yeah. I'm kind of dancing on eggshells here because I'm trying to be respectful to both teams. Mechanicsburg and Central Dauphin. I just think we'll give them a couple good days of practice, and both teams can win some games.
Yeah.
Overall, man, this bracket is really interesting. The quarterfinals matchups there's some really good matchups, and then the semis, of course, is really going to be really, 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 really good. But I mean,
how about the best
a lot
16?
You can say.
Best 16 seed I've ever seen is New Oxford. And I know that they've been skidding. What's the word? They're on whatever the word term is. And I said it before, they were 6-1 when they went in, they faced Central Dauphin. And I'm not saying Central Dauphin put them on this skid, but they played really poorly ever since that game. And they almost beat Central Dauphin. You were there, Bob.
Yeah.
I think it was like a 5-point game or something like that.
Yeah.
But they can make some noise. I don't know if they have any injuries or not, but they play Red Lion. You just mentioned the quarterfinals. It could be Red Lion, Cedar Cliff or William Penn, Wilson, and Mechanicsburg. That's a heck of a quarterfinals bracket. And then on the bottom, Central Dauphin, Central York, I see them beating Manheim Township.
Agreed.
Dallas Town and either Effort or Governor Mifflin. I don't know what would happen there. Effort has won a lot of games. So who do you have there, Terry?
Governor Mifflin.
Do you? Okay.
I think they beat them. I do.
I'm taking Ephrata.
I don't know enough.
I think it's it. They could probably play 10 times and it could be 5-5.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
All right.
But we'll see.
Yep.
Terry, he's our specialist for the obscure games. Okay. Whenever we need to know something that I don't know, I'm going to call on Bob. How about this? I reached out to one of the, I don't know if you'd say executives or one of the top guys at District 3 that always helps me out. He gives me information when I need it. And I said, hey, where will the title games be held? This is a text. Going to be at various locations. This is, I quote, they've got some sites lined up. It's just a matter of matching the sites with the right contests. So we don't know. The answer is right now, I don't know. They don't even know, I guess. What you have to do is they have to figure out geographically where these teams are going to be. And they do it all the time in basketball and football. You give them 48 hours and even 24 hours, and they can figure it out. But you have to communicate with the ADs, with the athletic director from the site, from the school that's hosting the game. So, but they're good. They'll figure it out. And, let's remind everybody that Giant Center, at least for now, just pulled out this year. Okay. That's it was the official, it was double booked, or they already had some. They make a lot more money on anything but high school basketball, I would imagine. I'm guessing. A concert, a seminar, on anything but high school basketball, because high school basketball, that place seats 10,500. Sometimes there's 750 fans in there. Okay.
I hope they can get it back though next year though. I really do.
I think the girls.
I get it.
The girls enjoy playing there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's nothing like, and I haven't done it. I've done it as a media member, but there's for the players now and the coaches. There's nothing like coming out of that tunnel.
Right.
I don't care if there's 5 or 500 or 5,000 fans. Just the majestic, aspect and just the feeling of how big it is and maybe intimidating even, but that's all part of it. If you're intimidated, that's okay. But it's a lot of fun to stand in the middle of Giant Center and get a medal put around your neck. I know that. So guys, I think that's it. I think we covered a lot there in 45 minutes, and we want to thank everybody who tuned in, who's tuned in. We've been getting a lot of viewers for this show. And this only started a few weeks ago. Bob and I were communicating, and then I I didn't really have to twist Terry's arm, but I knew Terry would be great at this because he's really good with girls basketball. There's not a lot of people like us that are girls basketball nerds.
Right.
Okay. I hate to say that, but I have a lot of friends that are high school basketball, like, just they're rabid for it and they're gurus and they're on the boys' side. Yeah. So whenever I can get a couple guys together and talk girls basketball, it's always a pleasure. So we'll see. I'll stay in touch. If you guys want to do another one, we'll maybe enter in states or something like that and get Coach Crum on to join us. We may do that. So let's thank the sponsors once again. Capital Region Insurance Agency, Payer Apparel, Team PA, AAU Basketball, Ted's Bar and Grill, The Tire Mart, American Legion Post 272, Crystal Bob at Iron Valley Real Estate, Hoffman Ford, Sam Hartley Decking, and Tonino's Pizza. Thanks to these great local businesses for their continued support. And thanks to our panel of experts, Bob Bonner, Terry Clark Jr. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Have a great evening.
Take care.